Bang, Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we got the Warspear 501G and the 502G here. Now, I'm just going to start this off. It's not going to be a normal review, I'll be honest, because, and I did test them, I did carry them and everything, but we got some significant issues, so let me just get into them. So this one right here, it's, you know, these are very budget friendly knives. I think they come with good materials, and I had 3 of them. If you don't remember, I unboxed 3 of them. The video got quite a lot of views, which was awesome. And I'm sure they got a lot of sales from it. However, you know, I don't really talk about negatives in my unboxing or anything like that because I like to test them out and everything else. Well, they do give you pretty good materials. We have 14C28N and micarta. So on all of them. The other one, the third one I had, I did give away. That one was pretty decent, to be honest. That one was fine. I didn't really find any significant issues with it or anything. This one right here, you know, they got a deep carry clip and everything. The micarta is okay, you know, especially for the budget. They come with a lot of accessories, an extra pivot collar, the tools. I like that. So there are some really good things, and an extra clip. There's a lot of great things about them. And I think they're headed in a good direction. I really do. And I want to check out more of their stuff. I really do. I hate when I have to do videos like this because I do want them to do good. And I think that they're gonna. I do think they're relatively new, you know. However, let's talk about some of the issues. So this one, we got some lock play. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's pretty significant. Now, that's not that big of an issue because I can adjust the lock bar. I can adjust the detent or the lock bar, take it apart, bend the lock bar over a little bit, and it'll be fine. And I can tell that'll fix it because if I put just a little bit of pressure, it goes away. Okay? Not a problem. Next thing on this one is that for deployment, when you deploy it, I have to keep my hand really far down. This flipper tab, you know, the front flipper bites me constantly right here. And I mean, it nips me good. So I got to hold it. And I got large hands. So if you have smaller hands, it's going to be a pretty significant issue. I mean, I have to hold it way down here. I mean, just look at it, how when it comes down, like right there, it's touching me right now. So I have to, if I don't want to get nipped by it, and even right there it got me, I got to hold it pretty far back, right? I can flick it like this. It is fidgety, you know, it is very smooth, but that is one thing. Now, I can also reverse flick it, which I like to do. Next thing is, you know, the clip, the screws are up high. When I put when I put it in my pocket, my pants do hit there, and then they go over it. Okay, so it does go all the way up to here when I put them in my pocket, but the seam of my pants first hits this, and it roughs them up. And I noticed after, you know, just one day of carrying it, the spot where it was going in and out, it was starting to rough up the seam of my pocket. So, next thing is the liners are just like, they're cheap. They're not, like, you can kind of see it, they're like contoured and rounded, but they're very cheap, very budgety. Like, you can just see that it's, yeah, it's very, very budgety. And like I said, the action is okay, but aside from getting nipped every time I open it, but what I'm talking about is the smoothness. Now, next thing, the choil, the sharpening choil, it literally hits the edge. So now when I sharpen this, it's going to get a smile, and a good one at that. So I would have to cut in my own sharpening choil. All right, so that's this one. But some good things about it, it does cut good. It's comfortable in the hand. You do have a lot of hand room. You do feel the clip, but it's not a big deal. You know, the lock bar access, I guess, is okay. It's not comfortable, though. It's pokey. It's, you know, it feels like you're just pushing a wire over, if that makes sense. But, you know, whatever. Next one, oh yeah, and T6 is all the way around. I don't like to see that. This one has the lightest detent I felt on a knife in a long time. I mean, it is, if Lefty EDC had this, and I've oiled it and lubed it. Now, I can reliably flip it every time, but I have to mean to flip it. Like, if I just pull down the flipper tab, I fail it about 1 every 5 times normally if I'm not really paying attention. But if I give it a little wrist, it'll go. If I build up pressure and push button it, I can light switch it. So it's not that I can't deploy it, and the reverse flick is fine. But a lot of times with the thumb flick, I'll go to thumb flick it and it'll go like that. I mean, it's super light. You can hear there's like, it's like there's no detent. So, right there. So you have to mean to flip this. Now, with this, I can adjust the detent. Okay, so I'm cognitive of that. That's fine. And you know, I don't think I should have to, but I'm saying I can. Okay, I can, you know, strengthen the lock bar. Same thing like I said here. I would take it apart, bend the lock bar very, very slightly. A little bit does a lot. Because another reason why I'd want to do that is look at this lockup. Let me see if you can see go through. It's barely on there. I've already spine whacked it, and the first time I hit it, it failed. Like, I didn't even have to hardly do it. And I obviously, the first time I didn't was slam it. I just gave it a good little tap, and bam, it failed. So, strengthening the lock bar, you know, would be obviously a must, right? I would have to do that. Even if I could tolerate the detent, which left-handed, I can barely even do it. Because I'm not, I guess I can build it up, but. And then another thing is this one, both of these knives have a ton of flex. Even with this thing centered, I can get so much flex out of this knife. Like the knife, even with it tightened all the way. So with the early lockup plus all this flex, I don't trust it. You know, it could fail very easily because it moves. And if you look at this one, you can see it. It's solid. I mean, this thing's screwed all the way in so that it can have center. Well, it's not quite centered, but so that you can move the blade, because if I go any tighter, I won't be able to move the blade, but you can actually hear it popping the lock bar. And sometimes it's like really bad. Like, it'll move that lock. See how it's moving the lock bar back and forth? So, and that has to do with, because look at how milled out it is. This is entirely way too much milling. We're trying to make knives entirely way too light when they are not. It's not justified. We need to go for build quality and strength over how light the knife is. And I understand companies are influenced by all these people in the community thinking every knife has to be an ounce per inch. I think that's a ridiculous thing. I think it should be, the knife should be built well, and the weight is what it is. Yeah, I think there's a certain point where obviously certain materials are going to make a knife a little bit ridiculous in weight. But at a certain point, like when you're just dealing with a basic knife with liners, you know, it's not steel, it's not copper, it's not 1/4 inch thick titanium scales. Why are we worried about how light we can make something that's already light? Especially if it sacrifices the build quality and strength of the knife. So, you know, obviously T6s again, obviously the same clip issue and the same choil issue. This one's not as bad. This one actually stops right there. So this one, I'm not going to knock on the choil. They are budget knives, you know, they're $30-something. They're less than $40. So, but the thing is though, is that for less than $40, for $20, there's some amazing knives out there, like really good quality. So I personally, I did buy these, but I would not buy them again. I wouldn't recommend them. I just can't. It's not possible. So I'm not going to go forward and sharpen them and sit there and show cutting and everything else. Even if it was something like that, I don't like them, I still show all that stuff. This is just, I'm not even going to put forth the effort and the time to edit the video, to show it, to do anything. You know, I could show how to fix this, right? I could do that, but I'm not gonna. It just, it's not really worth it, right? You know, they're $30-something knives. You can obviously find, and the thing is though, is that this was 2 out of 3, right? So if this would have been one of these knives, I would totally do a video on fixing it. Oh yeah, I forgot to say detent lash too. That was another thing. This one doesn't have a detent, so yeah, I would totally show you guys how to fix these. I'll do it in another video because I do have another knife possibly that I have to fix a lock bar issue. I just recently did fix this one. This quiet carry waypoint had a lot of lock play. It rattled. Same thing with like this. Same thing. And I took it apart. I clamped the screws. So I could have took the screws out and just took the liner and bent it. But I wanted to be very gentle with how much I moved it. You don't want to move much. So what I did was I left the liner attached to this side, took this scale off, and I put a clamp right there on top of the screw. So when I wedge something underneath the lock bar and I start bending it, I'm not putting any pressure on the screws. And then I had to do it twice. The first time didn't work. Second time did. It's locked up very solid. I did have a couple other issues with this quiet carry waypoint, but I'm not going to get into it. I did a whole video on Instagram about it. However, with these, you know, it just is what it is. You know, I hope that they watch this video and they, you know, improve, maybe make a new model. They can send them to me. I have no problem checking them out again. I'm not going to personally buy more when 2 out of 3 were bad. And, you know, at the price point with all the other knives out there, this isn't a knife you send back in and have them fix, right? This is a knife, like, if you got a bad one, you would send it back, get your money back or something like that. Maybe somebody would, you know, get a new one. I don't know. It's not worth it to me. It's just, I'll just call it a loss, but I won't reinvest. Do you know what I mean? So, hopefully they do see this, and hopefully it's something that, you know, like their next new model, they go over some of these things. Now, one thing I did, you know, that was a little bit more impressive on this one that wasn't on this one was the liner. The liner, look, it looks better. It's not this shiny stuff. It's got like a bead blast on it or something like that. It's inset. It's got a bevel on there. It's nice and comfortable. The access isn't bad. It's a very light. That's the only problem. I mean, there's no strength to it. I mean, you can see the lock up there. I mean, it's like not even locked up. So, but this one is just uncomfortable. There's no chamfer. It's just, it feels like a wire. So I'm happy about that. You know, the reverse flick is pretty decent with no detent. I can do it. But like I said, if I took it apart and strengthened that detent, which I might do, I might fix these and then give them away or something. But, I mean, if you're having this issue, I think I explained it pretty good on how to do that. And I have done videos where I showed how to do it. You can watch my concept goblin video. You can watch my my custom knife factory MPAD. I did it on that one. So it's not like this is an uncommon issue. I'm not trying to bash these guys and say this is you guys, you know. This happens. Of course it does. But I'm adding everything together. Not just that. If it was just that one thing, which I guess you could say is the most significant thing. Kind of. But I don't know. They're not my style. They're not going to get carried. I'm not gonna. I almost want to do it. I feel bad right now because I almost should fix them and show you guys how to do it. So you guys, if you guys put forth the money, you guys would be able to do it yourself or fix it yourself. But I don't feel like it deserves it, right? I don't feel like the money is justified here. Like I don't really care to do it, to be honest. I have so many other things I can do. This isn't one of them. But like I said, I am open to checking more of their knives out. I just won't be purchasing them. But there you guys go. I love you guys. Peace.